18 minutes to 9 on this Tuesday morning. Now, SafariBookings.com conducted its annual study to determine 50 of the best African safari parks. And South African parks dominate the 2019 list, with 14 making the top 50. We're joined this morning by SANParks Janine Raftopoulos to tell us about the secrets to their success. Janine, good morning.
Good morning.
I suppose you're very pleased. 14 parks in the top 50 list. Not a bad showing.
We are very pleased. I think six parks have made it into the top 50. And for SANParks, I think that's a huge feat when you consider the mandate is about conservation of our culture, heritage, biodiversity, and I think the responsible tourism element is really starting to play a bigger role. So we're very pleased.
What's the responsible tourism element?
It's about ensuring that our conservation plays a role in terms of income generation. So the commercialization strategy is to ensure that as a state-owned entity, we generate 70% of our own revenue, which is a big feat, particularly in the economic times that we have. And so ensuring that our products, our parks are commercially viable to international and national audiences is becoming an even bigger role and shoes that we need to step into. And the fact that we've made the top, 6 of our parks, you know, with 2,300 reviews, some from independent tourism operators, I think that's a big feat.
So what are the things that you do at your parks that make them stand out, you think?
You know, it's always about the big 5, but the commercialization is seeing us go into things like holding music festivals in parks that are allowed to do that. You can go fly fishing, you can go canoeing, kayaking, guided safari walks, you know, and people only think of what's in the park. Surrounding communities play a very big role in terms of our socioeconomic transformation, and SANParks is working more and more to give them opportunities, to give them jobs, so that people not only visit the park, but they get to know the communities that actually surround the park, which is an important thing for us as well.
So which 6, just remind us?
Kgalagadi actually beat out Kruger this year to make it into the top 20. Then a big surprise for us was Mountain Zebra National Park, Karoo National Park. Agrabis and Addo were not surprises.
Okay.
Because, you know, Kgalagadi, Kruger, Addo, Agrabis and Table Mountain always make the list.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Table Mountain, it is an iconic structure and it's a park that people need to know. It's an open access park.
Yeah.
So for us, Karoo was a real, it sort of snuck in there, and we're really pleased about that because it's one off the beaten track and it's one that we're encouraging people to see more and more.
So does the survey tell you, does it gauge whether this is popular with South Africans themselves, or does it include only South Africans? Does it look at international travelers as well? How do we sort of gauge or mark them up?
Based on the survey results, 83 countries participated. And when I had a look at the heat map, it was predominantly North America. There was some India, Australia, as well as Europe, and some in South Africa as well. It was more of 50-50 of users that go to the park and industry experts. And for us, I think that's a good measure. In terms of South Africa, we want to do our own survey. You know, we've just embarked on our new 5-year strategy, which talks about sustainable conservation, responsible tourism, socioeconomic transformation. So I think probably in year 3, we need to gauge for ourselves what South Africans think about our parks, the importance of our parks to them, and why they're important.
So who are majority of the visitors, though, to these parks that makes them popular? South Africans or foreign visitors?
I think we get a mix. It depends on the park. It really depends on the park. But for now, the dominant visitor to a national park is a South African, and I think for us that's important. Then we become far more...
We've been encouraging, trying to get South Africans to visit and travel more local.
Absolutely. And I remember the last time I was here, you said you wanted Parks Week to happen on a Sunday. And we've actually opened it from 8 to 15 September of this year in Bontebal.
Thanks for that.
I know. So
when is that again?
8 to 15 September. That's when our National Parks Week is. So it's open for weekend so that people can actually go other than just during the week.
And that's when you can go for free to certain parks, right?
For all South African citizens.
That in my diary, because
you must.
then I'm not going to be forgiven if I don't take advantage of that. So plans for these parks then, Janine, I mean, how do you sustain this? How do you keep them going? And you know, can we do that?
It's a question that we're answering every day. If we're generating 70%, and as you can see with the fiscus, we are called upon more and more and more to generate more revenue, commercialization becomes a big thing. Triple Ps, public-private partnerships, becomes even more. people need to visit our parks because it's about them giving back and sustaining this culture and natural heritage that we need to. So I think over and above that, we have to put up our tariffs and fees because costs go up as more people come. Some of our infrastructure is aging. We know about that because some of the parks have been around for many, many years. We need to upkeep. And in order to do that, we've got to find other ways of generating revenue.
Now, we're constantly fighting poaching and poachers.
Exactly.
Has that had any impact on the popularity of these parks, on how you're functioning, and also the costs that rise in terms of keeping and
absolutely. From a cost perspective, that has become huge, and it's something that ordinarily we don't get funding for. So fundraising has become a very big element in SANParks. You know, private donorship, citizen donorship. Poaching takes far too much, unfortunately, not only of our rangers' time and lives, but also of the budget that we're given, which is limited, as I say. And so we need more people to come to the party and assist. But it is a mind shift about poaching. It's not just about throwing money into a big hole.
Okay, and what are people's expectations at the park? Are you seeing that more and more, you know, people we have to come here and we have to see the Big Five, or are they just happy to be there? Are they just, you know, it's nice to just
in
be
the
out
main,
in
they're
it?
just happy to be there. They want to go away for some R&R and unplug from Wi-Fi. But we also needing to meet the needs of the new millennial, of the young person that
I'm
wants
afraid to
Wi-Fi.
ask what those needs are. Millennials are so difficult to manage.
You know, we try to adjust, but we have to. I think still in the main, it's about the animals, it's about the facilities, and it's about just unplugging and R&R.
Okay, fantastic. So go and visit. I mean, SANParks 6 in those top in that top 50 list. Fantastically, and well done. Good work.
Thank you very much.
Janine Raftopoulos. She's from SANParks joining us this morning now.
Yeah.